Hello there gang, Devere here with another Pass Blast, playing a little bit of Crazy Taxi. This was of course originally released back in 1999 as an arcade game, and then it got ported to the Dreamcast, and it actually became, I believe it's the Dreamcast's, the Sega Dreamcast obviously, it was their biggest selling game, for the third biggest selling game of all time. On that stage, on that platform. Then it got ported over to other systems, the usual PS2, PC, etc, etc. And I believe I actually played this one. I can't remember if I played it on my Dreamcast or on my PS2. Yes, I used to be a console peasant as well once upon a time. It wasn't always just PC gaming. So, help and options. There is an exterior configuration launcher that allows you to set your resolution and whether you want some anti-aliasing on or off. Now, resolution wise, if for some reason the maximum it will accept is 1680 by 1020. It won't let me have the full 1920 by 1080. However, that's not a big deal with a game this old, so let's have a look what these in-games are. Oh yeah, the configuration also lets you choose between mouse and keyboard, or rather keyboard, and controller. And I'm using the my Xbox 360 controller. So this just shows you what the buttons do, but we'll talk more about controls once we get in game. And this is just where you set your difficulty of sorts, and also your things like in-game volume, and if you want it full screen or not. So that's your lot there. You also have up to 4 profiles. I guess that was from the Dreamcast. Must have been 4-player co-op or something like that. So let's just see what we get content-wise. So arcade and original. I have no idea what the difference between the two is, or if there is one. And Crazy Box, which is a series of little challenges that you can compete in. So a little bit of extra content there. Arcade wise, you can work for 3 minutes, you can play for 5 minutes, play for 10 minutes, in which case you just get as much as you can in that time limit. Arcade rules, of course, is every time you get a successful drop off, you get a bit more time and a bit more time and a bit more time, and until you stuff it up enough to run out of time. So we'll just play by arcade rules.
Go ahead and pick a car and driver.
Yeah. I shall have a listen to this voice actor here.
Gus.
Okay, let's have some fun.
Hey, it's
Now, I'm sure that is John St. John.
Are you ready? Here we go.
So, here we are in game.
Taxi?
Definitely looks of the era. Both arcade and Dreamcast.
Okay, thank me later.
So, as the game title suggests, for a taxi driver, you've got to earn some crazy money by picking up fares and trying to do crazy stunts and then dropping them off at their destination. Oops. Right, let's try and get another one. It's annoying all the amount of people that seem to wave at you even when they don't want picking up. That's something that hasn't aged very well. Kind of weird. It has, unlike modern games, it has drive and reverse on actual separate buttons. You don't just hold the controller down in reverse or a brake and have it go into reverse like you would do today. Alright, we're doing quite good here so far. Oh, nice one, lucky there as much as anything else. So now one of the first things you might notice, whoops, is there, that's his destination. Well, one of, not so much notice, the first thing you might hear is the soundtrack. Because the original soundtrack, of course, was one of the big selling points, with The Offspring particularly being one of the big draws. That's all gone. Yeah, the original soundtrack has been trashed for, I guess, licensing reasons. I was going to try and jump that. I wasn't going to try and crash into that. So, yeah, if that was... If you're wanting to put on the nostalgia earphones, then this is going to be a very disappointing port for you. Now, luckily, it's easy enough to set up to have the original soundtrack if you want it. You just have to get the sound files, convert them into the sound format and put them in the audio directory. But I mean, I don't think this new replacement soundtrack's that so bad. I don't know where I was going. I haven't picked anyone up. Oops. Oh no, I'm right by the... It's bad habits from modern sloppy games. Oh, they would be wanting to go up here. Yes, I don't really think this is that bad a soundtrack. Clearly it's not the original, so it's not as good, but... Oh. I think this is about to be game over. I really wish I checked where I was going. Oh, no, we can't. Oh, just out of time. Yeah, so... Yeah, it's fitting, it's kind of rocky. I mean, it's not ballads or blues. So it keeps in the ethos, the ambiance of what you'd expect. So I should register that to my profile, even though it wasn't a very good score. So let's have a quick go at original, and you tell me if you see anything. Let me know in the comments or something, because I really can't see any difference between them.
Go ahead and pick a car and driver.
Yeah, just for differences.
Okay, let's play it cool.
Now, the other thing we need to mention is controls. That is one area that hasn't done so well.
Taxi!
Now, as I said, I am playing this on my Xbox 360 controller, but initially, out of the box, your analog sticks are not actually analog sticks. They just function the same as the D-pad, meaning this is incredibly super sensitive, to the point it's almost impossible to control the vehicle. Luckily, there is a user-made patch up on the Steam forums, which once you apply it, turns this into a proper analog controller again. It also puts a bit of a dead zone in there, so it's definitely a vast improvement over what was originally there.
Get in already. Good job.
And being a driving game, you do really want to kind of play it with a... You do kind of want to play it with a controller, really, than anything else. I'm only going this wrong way temporarily. But yeah, that is also quite a disappointment. It's a very sloppy port in many ways. As I say, no actual 1920 by 1080 resolution, no original soundtrack, which fair enough is licensing issues. Also very sloppy controller implementation. Luckily the patch is easy enough. You just download it, drop it into the game where you downloaded the game, replace anything that needs replacing, and you're good to go. This makes a vast improvement. Even so, there's still the occasional twitch when my just leaps sort of slightly to the left, snaps slightly to the left for some reason. I think I've come a bad way here. Let's say visual-wise, lots of popping as you can see. But can anyone else tell the difference between this and the original? I think it's hang on. I think this was supposed to be a bigger map. I think maybe might have expanded the map a tad. Oh, this is nick of time stuff literally here. So the game's still fun once you've got the right patch installed. As I say, I don't think the soundtrack's all that bad. Oh, I need to try and drift backwards. I think game over. Oh, terrible. I mean, there is a bit of that involved in the game anyway, where you get a load of customers in the road that want to go really close places, or they want to go miles. Once you get some of the shortcuts down, it obviously becomes a lot easier. So, yes, Crazy Taxi. It's a bit of a mixed bag. I registered that, so no point. It wasn't even worth having. It's still fun. Obviously, it's not an in-depth racing game. It does what it does, and it does that over and over. So it's very much a time filler. The soundtrack issues may bother some people, but it's easy enough to convert the files and put them into the directory if you do want the original soundtrack. And yeah, it's just the controls, even with the the fan-made patch applied to get the analog sticks working properly. It's still a bit twitchy for this style of game. It would be good if there was a way to sort of deaden the response time down a fraction. But then that would probably make it too easy, perhaps. I mean, that was part of the whole draw of the game, is it's supposed to be sort of kind of hard to master, and that bit is true. So yes, it's not terrible, but I mean it was never a. I mean it was obviously it was a hit in the day, but it wasn't. It's not like a must-play game, not by any means. So we'll conclude our dealings here, gang. It's definitely got some rough edges, but it still has a sort of fun edge to it, even without the original soundtrack. So anyway, gang, thanks for taking time to watch the video. Hope you found it useful and entertaining in some way. And as ever, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to let me know you're alive. I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.